It's July, which means that it's too hot outside. There are too many bugs, and the sun sets at night just way too late. But July also means that things like my tomatoes and peppers are starting to produce. It means that me and the birds have finished off the gummy berries and now are in fierce competition over the blueberries, currants, and grapes. While the spring flowers are dead and gone, the midsummer flowers are in bloom, with bee balm, butterfly bushes, and milkweed being a favorite among the bees, butterflies, and hummingbirds. My spring pumpkins are beginning to flower and form. The pumpkin seeds I planted last week for the fall are starting to sprout, and the rest of the garden, like carrots, potatoes, peas, cucumbers, beans, cabbage, charred onions, corn, and herbs are doing okay. Also, baby birds have been chirping from the birdhouses, and fawns are occasionally showing up, which are kind of cute. But also, July means that the pre-Halloween season is starting up. Some retailers, plus the haunted attractions, are getting ready for October, and that is what I'm going to cover with this video. I used to move around the US a lot with my prior job, and at Halloween time I'd search for nearby haunted attractions. Now I live in a rural area and I just don't feel like going anywhere. So I've been decorating my home inside and out in a haunted house theme, but I still like to look at the videos where people set up their own Halloween haunts. Now I'm breaking this video down to a magazine review, horror conventions, and Halloween props. And I'll be starting off with the magazine Haunt World. It is issue 51. Haunt World covers the haunted house industry, the type of haunted houses that are set up during Halloween for entertainment, not the houses that people say are haunted. The editor has a few decades of experience operating haunted houses, and he opens up talking a bit about how COVID affected the haunt industry. It shut down most of the attractions, plus the conventions, as it shut down most things. And he goes into the lessons he learned from it to stay in business, which was basically try and follow the government rules the best you can, and hope you don't get shut down and lose your livelihood. Haunted houses have grown bigger over the last few years, and the haunts have gotten more expensive and more elaborate. From what I could find online, the ticket prices can range from $10 to $120. Now, I have heard for years that Halloween is the second most commercially successful holiday, but this isn't true. According to the National Retail Federation, in 2021, Christmas, of course, was #1. But in terms of sales, Valentine's Day, Easter, Labor Day, Father's and Mother's Day all beat out Halloween, although it's still a multi-billion-dollar business. One thing this magazine mentions is the popularity of escape rooms. And these weren't really a thing when I was going to haunted houses. If you haven't heard of them, they're sort of puzzle-solving rooms that have themes where each room has clues to solve the puzzle to escape, and they have become pretty profitable to add to a haunt. One big change this editor mentions from haunts: people want to take a lot of pictures to put online. And yeah, selfie culture is a big thing nowadays. So we suggest reserving spaces for photo ops and selling merchandise, even if you have to shorten the haunt. This gives people a fun experience and the opportunity to purchase some mementos. On the Haunt World website, you can search for haunted houses and escape rooms by state. They also list what they think are the top 13 haunts of 2022, which are 13, Factory of Terror out of Canton, Ohio. 12, SLC Fear Factory, Salt Lake City, Utah. 11, Georgetown Morgue, Seattle, Washington. 10, 100 Acres Manor, Bethel Park, Pennsylvania. 9, Headless Horseman Hayride, Ulster Park, New York. 8, Spooky Woods, Greensboro, North Carolina. 7, Bennett's Curse, Baltimore, Maryland. 6, Dead Schoolhouse, Cincinnati, Ohio. 5, Eloise Asylum, Westland, Michigan. 4, The Darkness, St. Louis, Missouri. 3, Hell's Gate, Lockport, Illinois. 2, 13th Gate, Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And 1, Pennhurst Asylum, Spring City, Pennsylvania. I haven't been to any of these, and I'm surprised that some like the Haunted Overlord out of New Hampshire isn't on this list. The videos from there are pretty incredible, and I wish I had the skill to turn my garden into something like that. But there are a lot of these lists online, and they all have their favorite haunts. I used to go to comic book, goth, and horror conventions. These conventions took off in the 90s and the internet was still new. This is where I got a lot of my independent music, clothing, movies, and this stuff. These conventions would also bring in actors from some of these movies, and people would pay them for autographs, which wasn't really my thing. Now horror conventions have popped up everywhere, and they seem to be even more about paying actors for autographs and pictures. So while a lot of people enjoy doing that, it's just not for me. There used to be just a few horror conventions that came out once a year. Now you can find multiple conventions every month. A few of them that are coming up just in the next month: the Houston Horror Film Fest, Horror Hound Weekend, New Jersey Horror Con, Monster Mania, Motor City Nightmares, Oklahoma City Horror Con, all with pretty much the same actors showing up to sign autographs. And the last thing I want to mention are Halloween props. I love props, and boy have they come a long way over the last decade. Party City, Walmart, Lowe's, and Home Depot have expanded their Halloween sections over the years to include animatronics. It was a surprise when animatronics began to show up, and some of these are pretty cool. From zombies, witches, clowns, scarecrows, and all the rest. The big box store animatronic prices range from around $60 to $600. I've never bought any of the animatronics. I'm not sure how long they last. There are people on YouTube with pretty big collections, and for whatever reason, I like to watch those videos. Transworld, they have this large Halloween and trade show conventions, and they had their 2 conventions last month and in April. This is something I'd like to attend. They got seminars on costuming, makeup, construction, marketing, acting, and theming, plus ones geared to home haunters. They even have haunted houses set up that you can walk through. Also at Transworld, you'll have the large prop making companies show up, and they've got some incredible stuff. Just some of the items from this year: from Distortions Unlimited, a pumpkin witch for $574, Mutant Legend $574, After Midnight $574, Grim Death $6,400, Scarewolf $5,250. From Horror Dome, Lurch for $2,500, Little Creep $450, Jack Stalker $600. From Scare Factory, a 20-foot skeleton for $8,000, Track Runner Ghoul $5,000, Pigman $5,800, and Jump Ghost for $4,200. And at the Halloween FX Prop website, you can even purchase pre-made escape rooms for $50,000 to $85,000. I've been to a few large Halloween shops when I was traveling a lot. My favorite was called the Halloween Outlet in Worcester, Massachusetts. Online shopping was still new, and I loved getting their catalog by mail each year called Fright Catalog. The store went out of business 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know if it's because more places sell Halloween props or because of online shopping, but I do miss their catalog. Now, where the Halloween Outlet seems not to have been able to compete with these things, Spirit Halloween seems to be thriving. It opened in 1983 with one store, and they have taken advantage of a pop-up store business model, opening stores all over the country for a few months each year. They're able to get a good rental deals on properties that are vacant and ship the product to them. Then when the season's over, pack it up and ship it back. It's surprising this business model makes money, but between that and their website that ships year-round, they seem to be doing pretty good. There is one that opened near me over the past 2 Halloweens, and they are fun to visit. Spirit also started to market it better over the last couple of years with short teaser trailers on their YouTube, Instagram, and other platforms. They now do a big launch and have opening day events in some locations. They are headquartered in New Jersey, and that's the first store to open each season at the end of July. People have started showing up there real early opening day, even the night before, which seems kind of insane because the store is open like 2 or 3 months, and they have an online store also. This year, their 40th anniversary, they're giving away gifts for the first 200 attendees at their Jersey flagship store. And they've set rules like you can't camp out there overnight, but they'll have food and beverage vendors, tarot readers, graveyard bowling, and other activities. And that's it. I don't really celebrate holidays, and I don't do much for Halloween since I'm sort of immersed in the Halloween culture year-round, but I still look forward to October. If anyone out there on this internet thing even watches this video, thank you for stopping by. And remember, if you dislike long, hot, muggy summers as much as I do, there are less than 100 days left until Halloween. Good night. Boo.